NuPath's Virtual Unity Forum. It is September 3rd, 2020, and I am James Sannon, Director of Day Services. Today, I am filling in for Dan Harrison. So I am not only the host, I'm the CEO until this Unity Forum is over. I was thinking earlier today, what was I doing 1 year ago today? And I looked back at my calendar and I said to myself, you know what? Things are so different. A year ago today, I had 3 ISP meetings. Some of my managers were on vacation out of the state. And I look at where we're at today and it's like, wow, things have changed. And it just makes you really just wonder about where we're going and the importance of the Unity Forum. The Unity Forum is to keep us connected during this uncertain time. And I am here to keep that tradition going that Dan Harrison, our CEO, has started during the pandemic when it first began. And so today I'm honored that I was asked to fill in for Dan because to me, it's taken me out of my comfort zone. I'm not the type of person that usually does public speaking or likes to be in the spotlight. But for this reason, I said, you know what? Let me take up this challenge. Let me take myself out the comfort zone because that's the way I'm going to grow. So let me stop talking about me and let me get on to the meat of this show. So we have three panelists today, and not one of them is a NuPath employee, but yet they're all connected to NuPath in a different way in various forms. We have a person, Michelle Algeri. She works for DDS. She's going to be one of our first guests. I also have my friend Dion, who's going to be a second guest, and I'll explain how he's connected to NuPath. And then also we're going to have my sister who lives down in Georgia, and we're going to talk to my sister and see her perspective and just share stories, and we can all relate to what's going on. So every generation has something significant, a big crisis that they deal with. There was World War I, World War II. We also had the Civil Rights Movement. We had the Great Depression. And I sat there and I said to myself, in my generation, what is it that we experienced? At one point, I said to myself, well, okay, it's 911. It was definitely 911. And now I say to myself, it wasn't 911. It's definitely the pandemic and the racial injustice that's going on, are the two things for this generation that we're dealing with. So, we're all in it together and we're all going to pull through it together. So without any further delay, I want to bring on our first panelist, our first guest, Michelle Algeri. So Greg, we ready for Michelle?
I am. Hi. Hello.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay. And how are you and the family doing?
We are doing well. My daughter just went to college, so I'm a little nervous about her staying safe on the campus, which is obviously very concerned about spreading COVID.
Okay. So Michelle, I know you well, but many of the people who's joined us right now and listening don't know you well. And you work for DDS. Can you tell me about your job? What do you do?
So I am what's called the 688 Transition Coordinator. I work with folks who were found eligible for adult services, but they're still in the school system. So typically around age 18 to 22. And I work with the families and the individuals to show them what programs are available for when they age out of school, which is at the age 22. So programs like NuPath is a program that I would show a family to see if that's something that could meet their needs. So, lots of families have different, needs or visions for their child, and so, my job is to see what kind of supports they're getting at their school and try to replicate as best I can in the adult program.
Okay. And do you find that challenging with the pandemic. Are there enough programs open for all the kids that are turning 22?
Yeah, no, there is not. And many programs are sort of focusing on slowly bringing back the people that have been part of their program and not really looking to accept new people at this time. I have found that programs are willing to take people on virtually, which is helpful in something. But for some folks, it's not anything new because the schools have gone virtual and have been virtual for 6 months plus. So getting connected with an agency has been a challenge, but it is helpful if they're allowed to do some virtual activities just to get to know the players and people who are involved. But it's been a very slow process. So folks who've graduated over the summer have not really, they haven't gotten into programs yet. So the summer was tough. We focused on, staying safe and healing and getting, it wasn't a lot about looking at programs because I think that so many people we know were affected. But now that I think this is going to be our future for maybe possibly another year, we're back in the game, trying to get out there and look at programs virtually and trying to find stuff for folks to do, even if it's through a web activity during the day. I mean, it's helpful for people to stay engaged.
All right. Well, your title is 688 Transition Coordinator, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What is 688? Can you
So
enlighten
it's,
me?
and I don't have the technical term, but it's the law. It's this, Chapter 688 is the law that states that anybody who is receiving, again, I'm not a lawyer and I don't know it by heart, but it's basically if you're receiving, special ed services in the school department, you are eligible and to have a 688 referral submitted on your behalf. So, schools can determine which adult agency is best to support them. So it could be DDS, DMH, MRC. So they submit that referral on their behalf. So, there could be some more, legal information behind that, but that's what I usually tell families.
So Michelle, so you're the bridge between the educational system and adult services. You're the bridge, and you're pretty much the first encounter with the parents, the families who are looking for adult services. I feel like I personally know you, even though we only know each other on a professional basis, because we have such a long-term relationship. I've been at NuPath for 20 plus years.
Yeah, I just celebrated 20 years at DDS, so we've been together for the whole,
Correct, for the whole time. And when you come here to the facility to either visit somebody that you might be on your caseload or to provide a tour, it's amazing how I feel like you're a NuPath employee. It's amazing how you walk in the facility, all the program participants, all the students, it's like so many of them know you and they don't forget you.
No.
Many of the employees know you.
I know.
And it's just amazing that connection that you built over all this time. How many people would you guess that you referred to NuPath?
Probably, I mean, over 50 at least. But I always tell families that it's the only place where I feel like I'm a rock star, because I do get greeted, hugged, and I know I do feel like it's a place where I'm so grateful to see where people are going and how they're doing. And I do love my visits. I know this pandemic has changed so much, but that contact that you have with folks is definitely missing in our lives, I feel.
Okay, that is true, in which we try to stay relevant and we try to be available for everybody. So Michelle, soon I'm going to be talking to my sister. And my sister has a child that does have autism. And I said it softly. And, as a mother whose child is going to be going into, becoming a young adult, and in the position you're in, you're used to dealing with families that don't know what to expect. Do you have any advice for her that I can give her?
Sure. I mean, I think it's, you have to look at, and you say this all the time when you meet families, see as much as you can, because what works for one family will not work for the next. And I think that the biggest thing is, going out there and putting yourself, and seeing the programs for what they are. A lot of times people rely a lot on what their friends have thought of programs. And what they don't understand is that, their sons and daughters can be very different. And what their needs are may not be what your son or daughter needs. So it's important to like really go to the programs and hear and listen to what they're offering. And then I think it's also very important to listen to the teachers that are supporting your child, because they really have worked with a lot of students who have left programs and have seen, if your son or daughter is in a program with similar needs, and if they have had graduates who've gone to programs and they're doing well, that's a great resource. And having your teacher be involved in the transition process is very important, because how your child acts at home can be very different how they act in the school. So having the opinion of someone at school talk to the transitioning agency, I find is, provides a lot of information. So I always recommend having more than one person other than the family, talk about how the child does outside of the home and within the community.
Okay, thank you for that advice, and I will pass that on.
You're
And
welcome.
the last question I have for you, Michelle, I know you're a busy woman.
Mhm.
The last question I have for you is, most of the referrals that I get from you tend to be students with ASD
Yeah.
on the spectrum.
Yep.
Now, we've both been in this field for a long time,
hmm
and do you still see an increase in ASD diagnoses? Kids turning 22, is it more than ever now? Or have you seen it level off?
Yeah.
What's your perception of it?
I think you need a new building. I do. I see there's a need. I see there's more and more students coming down the pipeline with ASD. I think you're going to be needing more space for your folks. I know I don't know why. I don't know the answers, but I know that
So, Michelle, I agree with you, because
yeah.
our day program reopened about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the day we reopened, Michelle, I started getting referrals, and I believe I got one from you.
You did. You
So
did.
you guys did not wait one bit to start giving us
No.
referrals.
Well, and to be fair, I mean, I did, for the whole summer, I did not want to bother any agencies because of everything that you guys are going through in your residence, trying to keep everybody safe, worrying about your own families. But yeah, once I heard that people's doors were open, the referrals went in, because I need to start thinking about my poor families that are sitting at home waiting. But yeah, I mean, there's a need. We have folks, autism is, the numbers are high. I don't see it. I don't see the numbers fizzling out anytime soon. You need a whole building separate from 147.
All right. When I get an email from you, Michelle, asking if I can set up a tour,
Yes.
sometimes I sit there and I say to myself, really?
Yeah.
Michelle, why don't you just bring the family here and tour them yourself? You know NuPath so well.
I really could. I really could.
I know you could. Michelle, I appreciate you taking the time out
Thank you.
to be my first ever guest as a host.
You
So
did
I
very
truly
well.
appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank
you
you.
were lovely.
So thank you very much, Michelle, and I will see you soon.
Thank you. Take care, hon.
Take care. So hello everybody. I'm back again. Not that I left. So Michelle, wonderful woman. She knows her job, and she does it well. She keeps her connection with the students that she refers. And I love that about her, that it's not just you move somebody on and you're out of their life. She maintains that connection. So the next panelist that I have for you guys is Dion Young. Unfortunately, we did experience some technical issues, and we're not able to have him here in video, but he is here audio. Dion?
Yes. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Well, everybody's doing great, I hope. But Dion, before I ask you any questions or get into it, I want to kind of give everybody a little background. So Dion is a long time friend of mine. I've known him for over 20 years. We went to college together. That's how I met him. And we have a lot of the same interests. Um, Dion got married, moved to DC, lived in DC for almost 10 years, and recently moved back to Massachusetts. We always remained in contact. However, Dion really never knew what I did as a profession. He knew, that I worked with adults with disabilities, but that's pretty much all he knew. And one day he was visiting me, pretty much when the pandemic broke out. The first time, the pandemic, and we started working from home, virtual programming. And I was tasked with the job of coming up with, I took on the challenge of doing fitness. We had all these options to provide different types of programming virtually. And I said, you know what? My whole life I've been involved in fitness, but never as a teacher, a trainer. I just own stuff, and I can hold my own. So now I was, thinking, how do I teach? How do I be a trainer? And it just dawned upon me. I have one of my best friends right next to me. He's a personal trainer, and why can't he help me come up with a routine? So this is where you step in, Dion. So Dion, you've never, to my knowledge, you don't have any professional background working with adults with disabilities. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So when I first asked you, you were standing in my living room, and you asked me what was I doing. I said, "Oh, I'm doing fitness." And you were just like, "With who? What what is going on?" And I explained to you, and you actually offered to volunteer your help. You said that do you need my help? And I said, and I'm the type of person, I have a lot of pride. I hate to ask people for help, but I didn't hesitate to say, yes, I need your help. And you stepped right in there, and I wasn't sure how you were going to respond because there were about 30 people on the Zoom platform, and most of them were adults with disabilities. So what was your first thought about doing it? What did you expect or not expect? Can you kind of talk to me about that?
Well, I didn't know what to expect. I figured that when it comes to fitness, people, they definitely have different abilities to take on the exercise, being asked of them or like demonstrate it. So I really didn't think it would be too much of a difference, and especially having like modifications. There's a learning curve when it comes to fitness for like anybody. So when I actually got into the class, my thoughts about it was correct. Like some people were able to pick up the exercise, like how to perform the exercise quicker than others. So I wasn't worried about it too much. And what concerns I did have is related to having a exercise to have the person adapt to, like a modification. Like, would I have a modification for a person
with a physical disability?
Yes, and
right.
That was the biggest. Would I have a modification for that specific person? And when it all came down to it, it was, it felt like teaching a normal class. There was really no difference,
Right, and I believe that's what I told you, because you kind of questioned and asked, do I have to modify the routines?
Yeah.
Do I have to slow it down? Do I have to speak slower? And I said, no. I said, Dion, just picture that it's anybody else. They are people just like anybody else. You don't have to do anything else different. and you took that and you flew with it, and you did great. And you were actually, you told me you were impressed that they were able to do that routine that you came up with, and you also felt that you under challenged them. Is that
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Yes, I definitely did under challenge them. And
Dion, uh, Dion,
I
you're
was,
not aware. You're somewhat of a celebrity in our virtual forum, virtual virtual classes platform. You're somewhat of a celebrity. You've hosted fitness with me maybe about 5 times, and you got me up and going. We developed a routine, and I was able to carry that on even after you stepped out the picture. I was still able to carry on your routine until this day. The the adults that attend our program still benefit from that program that you helped put together. So that's the connection. Even though you've never worked at NuPath, you've never physically came to the facility and met any of the people that we support here, you were able to do through the pandemic, we were able to unite and come together to provide something very good to people who need it. Um, and till this day, even though you're not doing it anymore, you're still remembered. People ask about you. You left a mark. It is a very respectful one. Um, is this something you would consider doing again on a more long-term basis? Like, let's say if I wanted to hire you as a personal trainer for the program, would that be something you'd consider?
yeah, definitely. Definitely open to it. You know, and definitely interested in the opportunity if it
Okay.
if one was presented.
All right. So Dion, so you never worked professionally with adults with disabilities. You never been to NuPath, but yet you find yourself here as a guest panelist, um, talking about your connection with NuPath and how you made a difference. And that's something we speak to our employees about all the time. Is just the smallest thing, you know, makes a difference. And you touch so many people's lives, and you didn't ask for any financial rewards for this. You never asked for anything. And what stands out to me a lot is that you still want to do it. You came to me and asked me, "Hey, do you need my help?" And how many times? And I told you, "Oh no, we're all good." So it's so impressive that somebody who's never been involved with adults with disabilities, never provided any type of mentoring, training, fitness to them, that you were able to do that, in a drop of a dime, and you're still continuing to offer your assistance, even though I haven't needed it. You're still continuing to offer it. And I know you have your own personal trials that you're going through in life right now. So I highly respect that, and I hope to keep you connected and to find a way to to bring you back, because you do have some fans here. Dion, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
All right.
You know, well, humbled and I appreciate, that you guys appreciate me. And one thing about fitness is that it's pretty rewarding, like when you're able to see people improve. And one thing about fitness is that it incorporates a lot of different systems of the body. Mental focus, endurance, like strength, and I'm putting it all together, and I'm just feeling the energy from the class. Believe it or not, I could feel the energy coming through the screen, and just to be able to help out and to give my energy and to have it to be utilized where people are using it to improve themselves, it's almost magical. And it's a blessing to, like just to work with people in general, no matter, who you are, like where you come from. But, like there's a saying, and, I like to like tell people, I tell people I'm no better than anyone else, but I'm better than what I was before. And I think that's what life is about for anybody in life, but just becoming better than what you were.
That's some good advice. That's
Yeah.
some very good advice. And I also want to point out that I don't ask for much. Look at what we found here. We found a picture of myself and Dion doing fitness at my house. So we were instructing the virtual programming. That's
Sorry, it's not clear, James and Dion, but this is what I could find.
That's all right.
No
That's great. So Dion, I want to also say thank you, because you know me for so many years, and I'm pretty I don't ask anybody for anything. The only time I ask people for something is when we're fundraising, the walk the walk. And thank you, because you have been a supporter. You have supported me with the fundraising for numerous years. And, I just want to say thank you. And I'm not going to stop asking every year. So, Dion, thank you for your time. I truly appreciate that you took the time out. And we will see each other again, hopefully through the virtual program. And I want to get you back as a guest again, because there's a lot of people that miss you.
Okay, no problem. I look forward to it.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, everybody. That was Dion Young, and I'm sure he'll do personal training if anybody was interested. So the next panelist is the closest to me. This is Blood. This is my sister.
Hi.
Marie. Hi, Marie. You there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. So unfortunately, technology is great when everything works fine. Unfortunately, we couldn't get everything to work fine, so there's no video. With
My
Marie.
evil plan worked.
So Marie, you got your wish.
My evil plan.
She is camera shy. So you got your wish. I wish people could see you, so everybody could see the beautiful sister I have, and the beautiful children you have as well.
Yeah.
So Marie, you've never been an employee of NuPath. I believe you have come here once to visit me.
Yes.
But that's not where the real connection is. To me, the real connection is that you're a mother, and you have two children. You have Justin and Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And one child that you have, Christian, my nephew, does have autism.
Yes, but shh. He thinks he cured it, so I'm in hiding right now, so he doesn't hear the word.
Right. So, it's very. I would just like to talk to you about you being a mother.
Yeah.
And when you live in Georgia.
Yeah.
You know how Massachusetts is. Massachusetts is one of the leading states with
Yes.
providing supports for adults with disabilities.
Georgia is not. It's very difficult in Georgia.
Yes, the southern states in general.
Yes.
So knowing what you know now, would you have moved to Georgia
No.
or would you have stayed in Massachusetts?
Stayed in Massachusetts.
Yes. So we have a neighbor who lived in Florida. And when a neighbor moved next door to me, they have a son with Down syndrome. And I said, oh, you moved back? And they're like, yeah, we moved to Massachusetts. I said, why? And they specifically said the only reason they moved from Florida to Massachusetts was because of the services that Massachusetts provides for people with disabilities.
Yeah.
And they felt that their child could have a better chance in life being in Massachusetts as opposed to in the southern states.
Yes. So I was a flight attendant when my son was diagnosed, and I dropped everything to help him, and I couldn't find any help because it was expensive. And the doctor told me I had to be the therapist because it was so expensive. And that's what I did. I don't have any life savings. I spent all my money on my child.
Oh, yes.
And That's okay. You've helped me out a few times, James,
Hmm.
and it's been a ride, and I'm scared all the time. I scared myself into a stroke because I was so worried about my child's life,
Wow.
and I had a yep. And the doctor said I need to relax, and I'm trying to relax, but I'm always scared for my son.
Rightfully so, because you can't be around forever. We all know that nobody
And,
lives
and,
forever.
and that scares me. Here I go having a
Right.
stroke.
Nobody lives forever. Now, when I come to Georgia, and I haven't been there since the pandemic or prior to that, because I, but when I did come to Georgia, I, you're inspirational because you do everything. You do
Yeah,
tutoring, you do the special programs. I mean, your whole life is about your two children,
yeah,
and I admire that so much. And
yeah.
like you said,
Thank you.
you put everything into it.
Yeah,
I sometimes I don't know how to give you a break, especially me being in Boston, and you're also taking care of mom. Mom is down in Georgia with you.
and she's the most difficult.
Yes, she can be, but
Yeah,
you know how to deal with it.
yeah.
Um, so how old is Christian now?
16.
Okay, so
He's always walking around to see if I'm talking about him. So
I
I'm in the
know, I
bathroom
know,
now.
you hide it out.
Yeah.
So soon you're gonna have to be thinking about Christian, what happens after he graduates.
I've been thinking about that since the day he was diagnosed.
Now I
Yeah.
remember the day he was diagnosed. You called me. You were very
Mhm.
upset, and I really didn't believe you. Not that I didn't believe you. I didn't
Yeah.
believe the doctors were correct because you told me that, oh, Christian, they said he has autism. And I said, no, he doesn't. I've been working in this field for all these years. I specialize with autism. And I was like, he seems totally normal to me. He he's social, he talks, he's there's no telltale signs, that
I
he
know.
just looks like a normal child to me.
But the
Yeah,
school was a hard time. The school was telling me a different story about my child that I didn't see at home.
right.
And
And,
told
and
me to
up-
come in school, and I did, and I understood what they were talking about. I couldn't believe it.
so then a couple years later, I came back to visit again,
hmm I
and
remember.
I was so shocked that all of a sudden I could see the autistic traits in
Yep.
Christian. I could see him flapping his hands. I could see him, self-isolating, playing with himself a lot. Even
Yeah.
though he was very social, very intelligent,
Yes, he
but
is.
it was very obvious that he did have autism. And I was
Yeah.
just so shocked how that has developed so quickly. From when I remember seeing him, he seemed so normal. Then a few
Yeah.
years later, I was just really shocked.
Yeah. He's
Uh,
very robotic. You know.
so have you seen the progression of the autism? Have you seen it be
Yes.
more prevalent?
Yes. He's more robotic. Very
Hmm.
robotic. He doesn't understand space. You
Personal
know,
space?
personal space. And that
And
scares me because, he'll bump into somebody. When he's little and he did it, it seemed to be okay. People were more forgiving. But when he's older now, people are not so forgiving. They look at him like, why is this crazy person bumping into me? And that can become a problem.
oh, definitely, yes. I can relate with that.
Yeah.
You know, I can
And he
definitely
do-
relate.
and he doesn't know. He doesn't know.
So what are some of the like what are some of the I'm trying to think of the word. How do I say this? What have you put in place? What have you tried to help Christian to become more independent?
We travel the world. I
Yeah,
took
I
him
know you do.
I took him to Japan. I took him to Italy. I took him to Germany, took him to France, took him to California, Hawaii, Chicago. My pediatrician said, show him the world, and I really did. And I think that made a world of difference. I give him a hard time, and sometimes I feel bad about it, but I try to get him to be as normal as possible. And he tries to. He doesn't, when he was diagnosed, he emailed, not emailed, he Googled to find out what it meant. And he said, I'm disabled. And he didn't like that. And he fought with that ever since. And he stopped flapping. And he stopped doing a lot of things. And then he told me he wasn't autistic anymore. And I didn't have the heart to tell him he was still.
So
And
now we have to hide it.
yes, because I don't know what to do. I don't know how to tell him he still is, because he's so devastated by being associated with disability.
Right.
So
It's so tough. It's so tough when you have a child who has such high cognitive skills, so intelligent, that they realize that they're different.
Yeah.
It's so hard. I see that, I see that here at our programs. And it's so sad too. It's very sad.
Yeah. Well, he got mad at me because he told me he wanted to get married, and I kind of laughed. And I said, "Yeah, Christian, I could see you coming home and saying hi to your wife, and then not talking to her for the rest of the night." And he was mad. He was like, "Oh, Mom, that wasn't nice." And I thought it was funny.
Wow. So does Christian what about medications? What's your take on medications? A lot of people who do have autism, unfortunately, on medication for medical or clinical behavioral reasons.
No, he has no behavioral problems. He's not on any medication. He's very kind. He's very gentle.
Yes, he is. Takes after me.
Yes, he does. I don't even know how he puts up with me, because I'm just like a crazy mama, and and he has a hard time transitioning, but he worked it out. He's pretty good with transitioning now.
Yeah, transitions are tough. And how does, what's the dynamic with Christian and Justin? They're brothers. Justin is a couple years older, but
well, Christian thinks he's very immature. He thinks Justin's very immature. And Christian is the one that cooks, he cleans, he does everything. I don't have to tell him to do anything. But Justin's the typical teenager, and I'm the dumbest. Right, and I'm the dumbest person in the world. You see how annoyed he was earlier with me with the computer.
Right. And what about his social life for Christian? Do you find that he lacks a social life, friends?
Huh?
How about his social life? His mother and his friend.
There's no social life. He loves being by himself. But he does love family, though, for a little while.
Yeah, when he does come to Boston or when I go to Georgia, he tends to love to stick around. And of course, I don't mind, because I love Christian and Justin. I love them all.
Yeah.
Well, Marie, I know you're working.
Yes.
And it takes a lot to come out and talk about this, because I know it's touching. And I'm happy you're my sister, and I love you.
Oh, I love you too, Jamesy.
So I wish everybody could have seen you. I do have some relatives that do work in NuPath. And I told the relatives that you'd be on.
James, I cut my own hair, so that will tell you everything.
Yeah. But some of our family would have liked to see you. So I'm disappointed we couldn't get your face on. But maybe next time.
Next time. Woo, woo. All right, thank you guys. But I have to get back to work.
Yes. Tell everybody I love them.
I'll tell everybody you love them. Bye.
All right. Thank you, Marie.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Hi, Greg.
Jamesy, great job, Jamesy. I apologize. There seems to be technical issues across the board today. You are also frozen, but great job, and it was really nice hearing your conversation with everyone. So thank you.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure. I did see that I'm frozen. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to be the host today. And so I have my time of being the CEO for 40 minutes. And everybody, it's Memorial Day weekend. Be safe. Practice social distancing. I recently heard on the news that lots of the positive COVID cases were as a result of backyard cookouts. So please, even if you're having a small backyard cookout, if you can, wear your mask, be safe, maintain 6 feet, and enjoy. Enjoy the weekend, long weekend, and tune in for the town hall next Tuesday, and our next virtual Unity Forum will be next Thursday. So James Sandin signing out till next week. Most likely Dan Harrison will be back, but thank you everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.